So many parents come to me and they ask me, how can I turn my child into a reader? So, this is a very important question because reading more is definitely a way to grow the brain, and every parent wants their child to be a reader because there are such tremendous advantages to being a reader. But a lot of times, children are not readers. No matter what you do, how many books you buy them, your child just doesn't want to read. Now, what could be the reason for this? So, the reason for children not liking books and therefore not liking reading is because they cannot read fast. So, they read very slowly. This makes it boring for them. They cannot understand the story that they're reading. They cannot remember the story that they're reading because it takes so much time for them to read it. And therefore, they begin to hate reading. Whenever they see a book, it reminds them that they cannot read. And so they begin to hate books. And this then makes them worse at reading. So they can't read, they don't read, they begin to hate books, they never read, and they become worse and worse at reading. So it's a vicious cycle. Now, to make such children fluent at reading, it seems obvious the child needs to read books. But the child hates books and the child keeps running away from books. So, what's the solution? Fortunately, there is a solution. Today, I'm going to share 5 games with you which will actually help build your child's brain to be able to learn reading faster and more effectively. So, what are these 5 games? Let me begin and tell you now. So, the first game is to teach your child rhyming words. In fact, children don't really need to be taught rhyming words, it's something they do very naturally. So, if you give your child a new word like clock, even a baby will try to say clock, block, clock, 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 flock, and they keep saying this, and we get annoyed and we're like, why are you saying all this? It's so irritating. Just keep quiet. Don't keep saying this anymore. But what are they doing here? Rhyming is the easiest way to learn spelling. If you know that clock matches or rhymes with flock, the child can just learn the last part of the word. And once they change the first letter of the word, they've got a different word. So, by doing this, by just saying nonsensical words that actually rhyme with each other, children build their capacity to spell words and to learn more words by just changing the first part of the word and remembering the second part of the word. Now, you could do this with them. So, you could say pig, okay? Pig, dig, jig, lig, nig. So you could just go with nonsensical words, and then after a while you could start acting them out. So you could say pig, jig, dig. So you could act them out. Then after a while, maybe you can go pick up objects that match clock, block, and so on, and slowly move on to actually writing the words on cardboard cards, and then going and picking up the word that you have said. So this will really help build your child's reading ability, reading speed, reading fluency without actually even touching a book. The second game is doing crafts or following a recipe. So children love to do crafts, they also love to cook with you, but usually we're just telling them what to do, or at the max we may be following a video that's telling us what to do with them. But when they're interested, if we show them that it's all written here and we can read it out and learn from it, you will find that because of their interest, your child is suddenly very interested in reading the instructions to do it. So you could say, they've said, take one stick. So you could help your child read that and then take the stick. They say bring gum. So bring gum. So these things are very, very important, and they will help your child to build a reading skill without even realizing it. The third game that I have for you is spot the wrong spelling. So, write out a paragraph, and in that, write some right spellings, but also write some wrong spellings. And then give your child a red pen and let them mark out the wrong spellings. So, when we read, rather, we need to have a visual impression of the word. We're not always looking at each word. When you see the THE, you're not reading THE every time. You just know how THE looks in general. You just know how CHAIR looks in general. And if someone writes CHAR, you will know that it's wrong. So when your child does this correction of your writing, in which they pick out wrong spellings, they will immediately, this will also build their self esteem. And everybody likes to be the teacher, everybody likes to be, in the authority figure. So they will also love to do this and build their self esteem. This will make them fall in love with words, fall in love with the pen, and fall in love with actual reading and writing. The fourth game I have for you is the memory game. So, a lot of reading is about remembering how words look. So, if you have a word called one, one is not spelt ONE, but if we look at ONE in our heads, we say one. So these are sight words. They don't really match with the spelling that they have. And so we have to memorize them. So this is all about having a better memory, expanding your child's memory. So you could start playing a memory game with objects. You cover 5 objects, and then you try to remember what's under the cover, and then you go and do the matching game with cards, and slowly you could do a matching game with sight words written on the cards. The fifth game I have for you is songs, especially action songs and songs that have rhyming words at the end. So, when you're doing the action songs, my tip would be to write out the words of the short song with rhyming words on the wall in front of you. You could use a whiteboard and write with a marker on it. And then, when your child is singing it, follow along and put your finger on each word that you are singing. So, when your child sings the song, your child is automatically looking at those words, and ultimately your child will memorize those words. When they come up in a book later, your child will be able to identify that word. So this is a very easy and great way to make your child fall in love with words. Also, make up some random songs. So take 5 words, take a tune that you commonly know. It could just be London Bridge is falling down. Put the random words into that tune and just sing it. If it doesn't make sense, your child will love it even more. So try and do that. That'll make your child fall in love with the words that are there. So if you've been struggling with teaching your child reading or improving your child's reading fluency, speed, and skill, type games now and play these games to improve your child's reading skills without ever touching a book. When you teach your child how to read, or for that matter, when you teach your child anything, always use neuroscience, because in the end, you have to know how information goes into the brain and how it stays in the brain in order to teach your child anything. If you're trying to teach your child how to read and struggling with that, fill out the contact form that I'm going to put in the caption, so that you reach me on email, and I will share the details of my Teach Your Child How to Read course, in which I use neuroscience to help you understand how you should teach your child to read. So I'm signing off here. I'm Dr. Debmita Dutta. I talk about parenting with neuroscience and the neuroscience of learning on my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon when you subscribe so that you receive a notification whenever I post the next video and learn parenting with neuroscience with me.